certainly nowhere in the consciousness in the foreground. Perhaps two things I'd like to share of how Baba made that magic happen and opened my heart to God. Firstly, through Baba's trust in me. In a world in which there's very little trust now, partners, friends, siblings, parents and children, whatever level of relationship it may be, the quality of trust is very fragile, or perhaps not even in existence. Sometimes we nurture it and it then disappears again. And at the age of 15, when certainly I knew very little about myself, neither the good nor the bad, I had very little idea of either side of myself. Baba, of course, was able to see through the soul. Baba was able to see my past, my future, and at that moment, at the present, Baba was able to inspire a huge amount of self-esteem and restore my own dignity through his trust in me. Baba was able to see my specialities when I didn't even know there were any. And Baba gave me a powerful inspiration. Child, you can be a server of the world. Would you like to do that? I didn't know what it meant to serve, let alone serve the world. And I certainly didn't know that I had any qualifications to be able to do that. And yet, what was Baba seeing? Baba was seeing with a vision of trust. Baba was seeing with the power of God's love. And Baba was planting a seed. And with that love was nurturing that little seed so that it would grow into a powerful plant that would transform my life. And it took a few years, but Baba never lost that faith in me. And when I was spinning around, I'd come back from India to London thinking, that must have been a dream. And I'd go back again to India, meet Baba again, and Baba didn't say to me, but what happened? What have you been doing the last 12 months? Baba just simply smiled and continued to share that trust and continued to nurture the seed that had been sown with more trust and more love, never ever losing hope, but again inspiring confidence in the self that, yes, I can serve the world. And the second experience, that was an ongoing experience, and at the time when I actually consciously started to study the teachings, and Dadi Janki was the mother and the teacher who made that happen. But within a few weeks, the powerful foundation of knowledge made me realize the things that I needed to know, the things that I needed to do, and the practice of the awareness of the soul began. In about 8 weeks after I had started seriously practicing meditation, going to Mount Abu on Baba's invitation, and one night, Baba, not conducting meditation it wasn't as formal or official as that. Baba was just simply exchanging drishti, the vision of soul consciousness, the vision of God consciousness, and as Baba looked into my eyes, in that gaze of eternal consciousness of the soul, in the remembrance of God's love, that love awoke within me the experience of love for God. When an individual loses their own ego and becomes a channel for God's light and love, it gives birth to another soul. And that night, Baba's vision of soul consciousness was a magnet that pulled me out of all the traps of the world of Kali Yuga and carried me to another dimension in which I was able to have a glimpse of God's light, the power of God's love, the experience of the home of silence, a moment of eternity. And I didn't come back to Kali Yuga after that. So truly, Baba's trust in me and Baba's own ability to lose himself and just be a channel for God's love started me on the journey that has brought me to this point. But that trust in me continues to the point where I just simply have to remember how much Baba has faith in me, and I'm able to let go of human frailties and again aspire to that state of perfection which I know Baba wants me to attain. In the month of January, I hope this will be the experience that all of you also share, that God's gift to us is perfection. And in this life, at this moment, not only can we glimpse it and touch it, but actually make it our own. Let us share some more minutes of meditation once more. I will speak out a few thoughts, and if you wish, you're welcome to follow those ideas so that we move in the same direction and we experience God as our guide, as our liberator. In the awareness of the soul, I let go of the things of matter and in the awareness of the Supreme, the being of light, my thoughts are pulled by this magnet of light, and I go beyond the world of matter and return to my home of peace, the land of light. Shiv Baba, the benefactor, the Supreme, is my guide. the one who leads me back home to this home of light, my home of peace. And in this awareness of my own eternal state, I taste the sweetness of the gift of liberation. God, the liberator, has pulled me beyond the land of sorrow, the world of bondage, into the awareness of truth and freedom. God's power gives me the strength to leave behind attachments, desires, and touch freedom. In my original state, I, the soul, was completely free. Baba offers me my freedom again. And in this sweet state of liberation, I regain the treasures I had lost. In freedom, I discover truth. I discover purity. I touch the sweetness of bliss. God's light of truth reaches out into the world so that the world and my unlimited family of all souls may experience the power of truth and find the path to liberation and freedom. God's light and love touches the world. Om Shanti.
चाहे पास हो चाहे दूर हो मेरे जीवन की तुम तकदीर हो
चाहे पास हो चाहे दूर हो मेरे सपनों की तुम तस्वीर हो
दिल ये हमारा तूने न जाना सीखा है हमने भी वादा निभाना वादा निभाना
God is the bestower. When I was a child, there were some people whose presence would make me feel very safe, and around them I would feel that everything was going to turn out well. God, your presence is like that. But the only difference between you and those people is that simply by thinking of you, you are there. Brahma Baba, you showed me how to experience the presence of God.
I see the smallest things, I feel the rawest things. I'd like to open my mind and give my thoughts to you. The perfect summer's day, the way I lost my way, all of the secrets deep in a room hidden from view. All of the lies I saw and thought they were the truth. You know I was wrong. Now I open my eyes and I see you standing there. Open my heart and I feel you resting there. Open my mind, give me something I can share. Open my love, let it shine on all despair. Teach me to be a child, walk me the ways of the wild. Give me a dream of dreaming, crystal blue and gold. Give me a seagull's wings, tell me the soul of all things. Give me an open hand and watch the sky unfold. Every desire I have, I'll gladly give away if you just open my eyes, let me see you standing there. Open my heart, let me feel you resting there. Open my mind, give me something I can share. Open my love, let it shine. Let it shine. Open my eyes. Open my heart. Open my mind, open my mind. Open my love.
it's so important. Start again. It's so important to bring God into our lives, isn't it? And it's now my great pleasure to introduce a very special individual. And I was thinking to myself, certainly, God is a very important force in my life. Brahma Baba, a very important force and inspiration. And then someone else who's very, very important to me and has mentored me along the spiritual path very closely. And that's Dadi Janki, who I know many of you know already. And I know Dadi is somebody who has emulated her life on the life of Brahma Baba. And I feel that through that she brings so many things alive for me of how Brahma Baba was. But of course, she adds her own special sparkle to the inspirations that she receives directly from God too. And Dadi is one of the founding members of the university. She now, from the beginnings in Karachi, when she was part of a community of 300 people, she now is the co-administrative head of a world community, I should say, of many hundreds of thousands of students of the Brahma Kumaris around the world in over 70 countries. And she does travel the world frequently, not just now and then, but crosses the world many times. And Dadi, I know, is somebody who guides others, and I know has guided me with really, I would say, total wisdom and compassion. And before I invite Dadi onto the stage, I also have to say one or two other things in terms of announcements so that I don't disturb the proceedings later. And one is that you're welcome to visit our bookstore afterwards. Second thing is that after Dadi has spoken, there'll be some time of meditation, and then Dadi will like to share a gift with all of you in silence, in meditation, and meet all of you through the vision of the eyes that Sister Jayanti was describing. And so at the end of the program, please come forward to Dadi to take that gift. And also I should say that Dadi will be speaking in Hindi, that's a natural language, and she will be translated by Sister Manda, who's the coordinator of our Global Retreat Centre. So that's the information. But I hope that you will enjoy listening to Dadi, and you will take many inspirations from what she has to say. And I'd like to invite Dadi to come onto the stage and share with us.
ओम शांति। जब शांति और प्रेम, आनंद की शक्ति स्वरूप होकर के आप सब बैठे हैं, वे क्या शब्दों में आऊं।
Om Shanti. All of you are sitting in the form and the experience of peace, love, and bliss. And so, how can I possibly come into words, into sound?
अनुभव ऐसी शक्ति है जो शब्द भी बाबा के मुख द्वारा जो सुने हैं अनुभव कराने वाली है।
Experience is such a powerful thing. The words that were spoken through the lips of Baba, those words were also so powerful that they gave us experiences.
ब्रह्मा मुख से ब्राह्मण पैदा हुए, सुना था।
We had heard that souls take spiritual birth through the mouth of Brahma, the creator.
ब्रह्मा मुख से भगवान ने सारे वेदों का सार सुनाया।
It has been said that God spoke the essence of all the Vedas and the scriptures through the mouth of Brahma.
ब्रह्मा को नई सृष्टि का रचता परमात्मा ने निमित्त बनाया।
Brahma was made the instrument by God, the instrument of the creator of the new world.
ब्रह्मा ने सो विष्णु का साक्षात्कार कराया।
Brahma, the creator, also became the one who gave us the vision of the perfect image of Vishnu.
ब्रह्मा, विष्णु और शंकर तीनों में से ब्रह्मा को कहेंगे हमारे जीवन को परिवर्तन लाने वाला अलौकिक जीवन दाता ब्रह्मा बाप है।
Three images have been remembered in India, and they are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar. Brahma is remembered as the creator, but in the sense that Brahma is the one who brings about enlightenment in our lives in such a way that he becomes the instrument to give us the experience of deep sense of spirituality.
शिव बाबा ने, हम जब बाबा कहते हैं ना, हमारे सामने एक में तीन दिखाई पड़ते हैं।
I am speaking of Baba, and when I say Baba, I include three images within that one word Baba.
जब ब्रह्मा बाप को सामने देखती है तो उसके नैन द्वारा परमात्मा को देखा, मुख द्वारा उसको जाना।
When I speak about Baba, Brahma Baba, then I see the image of Brahma in front of me, but it was through his eyes that I was able to have a vision of God, the incorporeal one, and it was also through his words, through his lips, that I was able to recognize that image of God.
सदा ब्रह्मा बाबा को, भले ये मुझ पता ही है, पहले से बाबा को मैं जानती थी।
I knew Brahma Baba before he was known as Brahma.
तो ब्रह्मा बाप पहले ही निम्रता की मूर्ति, इतनी रियलिटी और रॉयल्टी का बाबा के चलन से, चरित्र से पहले से देखा था।
Brahma Baba, when I knew him before even, he was an image of humility. That image that also gave us the experience of that which is real and royal. His activity, his character, and his personality was filled with great reality and royalty.
प्रवृत्ति में रहते हुए, बच्चों का बाप होते हुए, धंधा व्यापार करते हुए, उसकी पर्सनैलिटी में इतनी अनासक्त वृत्ति थी।
He was living in the household, looked after his family and children and his social life and his business life. But whilst doing all of that, his attitude was one of great selflessness and desires for the self.
कभी बाबा में अभिमान का अंश नहीं देखा.
We never saw a trace of ego in Baba.
झूठ ठगी का अंश नहीं देखा.
We didn't see a trace of lying and cheating in Baba.
तो हमने तभी सोच परमात्मा ने इस तन को क्यों चुन लिया.
And so, why is it that he became the instrument that was selected by God?
क्योंकि प्रवृत्ति में रहते हुए हर इंसान को कैसे बनना चाहिए, तो परमात्मा ने इस तन को चुन लिया.
The reason why he was selected was he was the one who lived in the household, and whilst living in the household and family and how the life of spirituality should be created, he became an example for that, and this is why he was selected by God.
परमात्मा के लिए खोज थी बाबा के, लेकिन परमात्मा ने ऐसे ही इसको चुन लिया. तो इसने फट से क्या किया, तन मन धन मेरा नहीं.
Brahma Baba himself had a search for God, wanted to experience God in his life, and then God selected him. And as soon as he was selected, he developed this attitude and this consciousness that his mind, his body, his wealth was no longer his.
तो जैसे ही बाबा के अंदर ये लगन थी, हुआ मैं कौन हूँ, तो मैं मेरा से मुक्त हो गई. तो पता चला मैं आत्मा कौन हूँ.
Brahma Baba had the interest to find out and to know, who am I, what am I? And as soon as he recognized the difference between I and my, he became absorbed in that experience of himself as a spiritual being, as a soul, the spirit.
मैं को मेरा से मुक्त कर लिया.
He liberated himself. He liberated the I from what is mine.
तो मैंने आँखों से देखा, तन मन धन समर्पण करने से मैं पण का अपमान से मुक्त हो गया बाबा.
So I saw it in Baba with my own eyes, that as soon as he's handed over, surrendered that consciousness of mine from his mind, his body and wealth, then he became totally free and became aware of his original self.
तो खुद तो आत्माभिमानी स्थिति में रहता हुआ देखा, हमको भी आत्माभिमानी स्थिति में बनाने की अपने नैनों के द्वारा, मुख द्वारा
We saw him constantly
अनुभव कराया.
maintain that awareness of himself as a soul, as a spiritual being, but he also remained engaged in enabling us to have that experience of ourselves as souls, and he remained lost in that experience so that we were able to have that experience through his eyes.
तो जो गीता में महावाक्य है भगवान के, देश है सब धर्म को भूल मुझे एक को याद कर.
It's been remembered in the Gita and mentioned that God says, let go of the consciousness of your own body and everything associated with the body and remember me alone.
तो परमात्मा की याद भी ठहर सकती है, देह में होते न्यारे भी बन सकते हैं.
So then we're able to maintain the remembrance of God, and whilst living in this physical body, we're able to be separate and detached from everything else that is around us.
तो कर्म संबंध में रहते हुए भी ट्रस्टी बन सकते हैं.
And so then also we're able to live a life of being a trustee whilst we're interacting and performing actions and carrying out our responsibilities.
तो बाबा ने हमेशा हमको जनक नाम से बुलाया.
Baba also always used to call out to me as Janak.
आज भी जनक नाम से बाबा का आवाज़ कानों में आते ही ट्रस्टियों विदेही रहने का अपने आप यहाँ से ट्रस्टी देश से विदेश.
And even today, Baba's sound of calling out to me as Janak echoes in my ears. And as I hear Baba's sound in that way, then I have the inspiration to be a trustee and to have that experience in which I'm bodiless. Whilst I'm in this physical body, the awareness that I must maintain is that I'm simply a soul, an incorporeal being. And whilst I interact with others and perform my duties and responsibilities, I must be aware that I'm simply a trustee of everything that is around me and everything that I have.
तो इस साकार बाबा के रथ द्वारा आकारी निराकारी स्थिति का भी अनुभव किया हुआ है.
Through the chariot of this corporeal being, I have been able to experience the stage of consciousness when I'm able to experience myself as a subtle being as well as an incorporeal being, a being that has no form at all, just energy.
निराकारी स्थिति से साइलेंस में चले जाओ.
When I experience myself in that incorporeal state, I'm able to go into a state of silence.
साकार से दूर होकर के अव्यक्त होकर के पार पे जाओ.
I can become distant from the corporeal feelings and come into a state in which I experience myself as a subtle being and then carry out my duties and responsibilities.
तो साकार में पाठ बजाते हुए दुख सुख मान अपमान निंदा उस्तत हार जीत को खेल समझ करके न्यारे और बाबा के प्यारे होकर के रहो.
Then, whilst I play my role, play my part in this corporeal world, I'll be able to go beyond all the fluctuations of this world, all the opposite experiences of this world, of praise and defamation, victory, defeat, happiness and sorrow, and then I'll be able to experience a sense of separation, a detachment from this world, and experience a state in which I'm loved by God.
3 बातें सदा बाबा के सामने क्यों सुना रही हूँ? आज के दिन आपको भी ये गिफ्ट के रूप में दे रही हूँ.
The 3 specific aspects that I would like to relate to you about Baba, I'd like to offer them to you as gifts tonight.
तन मन धन मेरा नहीं.
My mind, my body, and my wealth, they no longer mine.
मेरा नहीं तो डिटैच होने से फिर मेरा तो मम्मा तो छूटा, लेकिन तन भी सफला हो गया, मन भी ईश्वर में लग गया, धन भी मेरा न रहा, अनेकों की सेवा में लगने से सफला हो गया.
When I have this consciousness that none of this is mine anymore, my mind, my body, or my wealth, then I'm able to use them in a worthwhile way. My mind becomes engaged in God. My wealth is being used in order to help others, to bring benefit to others. And my body also begins to become used in the tasks that are most elevated.
तन कितना अच्छा बाबा के तन द्वारा कितनी सेवा हुई है.
My body also becomes an instrument that's able to serve God, just like Brahma Baba's body did.
मन ईश्वर में लग गया तो मनसा से भी बाबा ने कितनी हमारी सेवा की है.
When my mind becomes engaged in God, then like Brahma Baba, just as he served us through his mind, we're able to do the same.
धन ऐसे सफला कर दिया, हाथों में नहीं पकड़ा.
He handed over his wealth and used it in a worthwhile way, in such a way that he never touched his own wealth again.
तो मेरापन से छूटने से कितनी मुक्ति और जीवन मुक्ति क्या होती है, ये बाबा ने दिखाया.
When we let go of the consciousness of mine, then like Brahma Baba gave us the vision that we're able to experience a state of freedom in which whilst I'm living my life, but still I'm liberated from everything else that goes with life.
मन वचन कर्म श्रेष्ठ बाबा कहते हैं सेवा में लगाओ.
Baba says that you let your thoughts, your words and your actions be such that you're able to use them for service.
मेरापन छूटने से मन भी अच्छी सेवा कर सकता है.
When the consciousness of mine is removed, then my mind is also able to do service.
वेस्ट नेगेटिव से फ्री हो गया.
it becomes free from that which is waste and negative.
दिल और मन सेवा में लग गया.
My heart and my mind both then become engaged in service.
ऐसे जो महावाक्य भगवान से सुने वही मुख से उच्चारण करना है, ये आदत पड़ गई.
And then the habit that I also develop is that the words that are spoken by God, my lips must also speak only those words.
कर्म भी वही करना है जो भगवान करा रहा है.
And the actions that I perform must also be the actions that God is inspiring me to perform.
तो कर्मना सेवा करना मानना ही अपना भाग्य बनाना.
To do service through actions means to create one's own fortune.
फिर बाबा कहते बच्चे बाकी तुम्हारे पास क्या रहा है.
So then Baba asks, children, what else do you have remaining that is yours?
तेरा श्वास संकल्प हर सेकंड सफल आ रहे.
Your breath, your thoughts, and your every second should be used in a worthwhile way.
तो बाबा ने करके दिखलाया है.
Baba demonstrated this for us.
हर समय बाबा हम बच्चों को शिक्षा समझानी सावधानी दे करके अटेंशन खिंचवाता आ रहा है.
At all times, Baba used to give us teachings, Baba used to draw our attentions to different aspects, he used to caution us, he used to warn us, and through that enabled us and inspired us to move forward.
बच्चे बाबा कहते बच्चे ये पुरुषोत्तम बनने का युग है.
Baba says, children, this is the age in which you're able to become the most highest amongst humans.
तुम कलयुगी किचरे से निकल आओ.
You must, though, come away from the dirt of this iron-aged world, this world of darkness and ignorance.
तुम आत्माएं ब्राह्मण शुद्ध पवित्र जीवन बना लो, औरों को पवित्र बनाओ.
You souls, those who have taken a spiritual birth, must make your lives very pure and clean so that you're also able to inspire others to make their lives very pure and clean.
दुनिया में साधारण लाइफ तुम्हारी न हो, अलौकिक लाइफ हो.
Your life should no longer be like the people of the world, ordinary, but your life should now be deeply spiritual.
तो उसमें सदा अंदर से गुप्त पुरुषार्थ ही सच्चे पुरुषार्थ ही रहो.
And for that, always remain incognito, quiet effort makers.
ऐसा पुरुषार्थ करो जो शांति की यात्रा से आगे बढ़ते चलो.
Make such spiritual endeavor, spiritual effort, that you're able to move along the pilgrimage of life with peace.
दुख देना दुख लेने का धंधा फिनिश हो गया.
Finish all that business that gives you sorrow and makes you give sorrow to others.
भले दुनिया क्या भी कर रहे हैं, हमारा कोई दुश्मन नहीं.
No matter what the people of the world might be doing, but no one is my enemy.
तो अपना मित्र आप बनो, भगवान को मित्र बनाओ, सबको मित्र जान.
You must become your own friend, make God your friend, and consider everyone else to be your friend.
तो हर समय जीवन में मुझे क्या करना है बाबा ने अच्छा सिखाया है.
And so in my life, Baba has taught me very well to look at myself and to see what is it that I must do constantly.
तुम्हारे ये नैन किसके लिए है?
Who are your eyes for?
स्वदर्शन ईश्वर दर्शन करने में ही बिजी है.
Your eyes must remain engaged in having a vision of one's own self as well as the vision of God.
अपन को देखो और उसको देखो.
Look at yourself and look at God.
और किसी को देखो तो जैसे अपन को देख रहे हैं उसको देख रहे हैं, ऐसे सबको देखो.
And when you do look at others with the same vision that you look at yourself with and the vision that you look at God with.
सब आत्माएं हमारे भाई भाई हैं.
All souls are our brothers.
परमात्मा की संतान है.
We are the children of God.
तो ईश्वरीय स्नेह की जो शीतलता है वो वाइब्रेशन से हर आत्मा को परमात्मा स्नेह बना करके परमात्मा की तरफ खींचो.
The coolness of God, with the vibrations of that coolness of God's love, allow every soul to be drawn and to be pulled towards God.
वंडर है ईश्वरीय पर्यावरण में न तो शांति पर शीतलता कितनी है.
It really is incredible in God's love there is so much coolness and peace.
कराची में बाबा अनुभव कराते थे, कहते बच्चे देखो योगी कैसे शीतल काया वाले होते हैं.
When we were in Karachi, Baba used to give us that experience, and he used to say, children, just see how yogis have such a cool body.
कहाँ पर भी बैठे हैं बड़ा शीतलता और शांति में सरल स्वभाव भी हो जाता है.
Wherever they are sitting, they're very cool and very peaceful, and as a result, their nature is also very easygoing.
सबके साथ व्यवहार में बड़ी सरलता.
In their interactions with others, there's a great deal of ease and naturalness.
आज सवेरे जैसे हम भगवान को ऐसे या भगवान तुम कितना मोहिनी मूर्त हो.
Today in the morning, I was remembering God, and I was remembering God in that very beautiful, attractive form.
आप में क्या ऐसी अट्रैक्शन है जो हमारे मन को खींच लेते हो.
And I was saying, God, what is the attraction that you have that you're able to draw, pull our minds towards yourself?
सारी दुनिया भुलवा देते हो.
And in that process, you make us forget the entire world.
जी चाहता है हम आपके सामने रहूं.
And so then my heart's desire is that I always want to be in front of you.
आपके साथ रहूं.
I want to be with you.
जीऊं साथ साथ मरूं साथ साथ.
I want to live with you. I want to die with you.
जी शरीर में हूँ तो भी साथ साथ रहूं, शरीर छोड़ूं तो भी साथ साथ रहूं.
Whilst I, the soul, the spirit, am in the body, let me live with you. And when I leave this body, let me stay with you.
कौन सी आप में इतनी आकर्षण है?
What is this attraction that you have?
क्या है? सोचो.
Think about it. What is it?
बस हमारे कल्याण करने के लिए हमको अपना बच्चा बना करके श्रेष्ठ आत्मा बनाने की उसके अंदर आशा है. हम बच्चों को ऐसा बनाने की.
He has this wish and this desire to make us belong to him, to make us so elevated.
तो उसकी आकर्षण ने सब दुनिया से पार कर लिया है.
And that attraction of his wish, good wishes for us, makes us go beyond the whole of the world.
तो कोई भी बाहर की दुनिया की आकर्षण हो नहीं सकती.
And so in the attraction of God, there cannot be attraction of that external physical world
न
anymore.
भय हो सकता.
Nor can there be fear.
तो भगवान ने क्या बनाया हमको?
And so what has God made us?
तुम दिव्यता, पवित्रता और सत्यता की मूर्ति बन जाओ.
You have to become the image of divinity, purity, and truth.
तो उसके आगे और कुछ असत्यता तुम्हारे आगे भाग जाएंगी.
And any falsehood that may be there, that will go away.
अपवित्रता का नाम निशान नहीं रहेगा.
There will be no name or trace of impurity in you.
तो उसकी आकर्षण हमको सत्य शिवम जैसे सुंदरम खुद है वैसा बनाता है परमात्मा.
And so God's attraction makes us like him. God is remembered as the one who is Shiva, the point, the benevolent one, the one who is the beautiful one, the truthful one.
जैसे वो कल्याणकारी है कहते तुम भी सबका कल्याणकारी बनो.
Just as he is the benevolent one, you too must become benevolent like him.
दुनिया के सर्व आत्माओं के साथ संबंध है सबका कल्याण हो.
We have a relationship and a connection with the people, the souls of the whole world, and so our feelings for all souls should be that there should be benefit for everyone.
तो ब्रह्मा बाबा के द्वारा परमात्मा ने इतना प्यार दिया है, इतनी अच्छा बनाया है. तो कहते हैं बच्चे अभी तुम मेरे समझदार बच्चे हो, ज्ञानी तू आत्मा मुझे प्रिय लगते हैं, निरंतर योगी मेरे समान बनते हैं.
And so God has taught us through Brahma. He has made us so sensible through Brahma. And he says that God says that he has love for those who are enlightened souls, those who are yogi souls. And it's those yogi souls that are able to be benevolent and bring benefit to everyone.
तो मैं तुमको ज्ञान योग, कर्म योग, सहज योग सिखला करके राज योगी बना रहा हूँ.
And so I make you, I teach you easy Raj Yoga. I teach you yoga that is based on knowledge. And so I make you the ones I make you the ones who are karma yogis, those who are able to stay in yoga whilst performing actions. And so as a result, you become easy yogis.
ज्ञान को यूज करो लाइफ में.
And so use knowledge, spiritual knowledge in your life.
परमात्म ज्ञान को, आत्म ज्ञान को लाइफ में ले आओ.
Bring the knowledge of the self as a soul, bring the knowledge of God into your life, live it.
उससे सहज योगी बन जाएंगे.
And through this you will become easy yogis.
कर्म करते कछुए में समेटने की शक्ति आएंगी.
And whilst performing actions, you will develop then the power with which you're able to become like a tortoise that performs actions, does what it needs to, but then goes inside the shell and winds up, goes inside the shell with the senses.
अंदर की सत्यता, कर्म की श्रेष्ठता औरों को प्रेरणा देंगी.
Your inner truth and the elevated actions that you perform will give inspirations to others.
तो सत्यता अंदर की कर्म में, सोच में, वचन में बहुत काम करते हैं.
That inner truth achieves a great deal in my thinking, in my words, and in my actions.
भाषा, रंग, जाति, धर्म से पार ले जाकर दिलों को टच करने वाली बातें हो जाती है.
And then what happens is that it takes me beyond the caste and the colors and the creed and the religion, the barriers that we have in front of us, and it enables us to touch the hearts of others.
तो हम हमेशा कहते, कोई कहते तेरे कोई इच्छा है, मैं कह मेरे को वही इच्छा है जो भगवान की इच्छा है ना, हमारे लिए वही इच्छा है.
Sometimes I get asked, what is the desire I have? What is my wish? And I say, the wish that God has for me is the wish that I have.
उसकी इच्छा पूर्ण करो.
I want to fulfill God's wish for me, God's desire in me.
हिंदी में किसको कुछ कहो ना, कहेंगे जो हरी इच्छा होंगी, यहाँ कहेंगे इंशाल्लाह. मैं कहती हूँ ये शब्द कहना तो बस जैसे काम चलाओ.
In India, sometimes when you ask people to do something, they'll say, well, if God wishes, or there are expressions like this in Muslim religion also, and say, well, if God wishes, it'll happen. But it's not just a question of what God wishes.
अंदर से अपन पूछो भगवान की मेरे लिए क्या इच्छा है.
But I have to know, I have to ask myself inside, what does God wish for me?
तो भगवान की इच्छा है ऐसा इंसान बनो जो अनेकों को प्रेरणा देने लायक बनो.
God's wish for me is that I should become such a human being that I become a source of inspiration for many others.
तो इच्छाओं से मुक्त होना माना जीवन मुक्ति से औरों की सेवा करना.
And so to become free from personal desires of the self means to live a life of liberation in life, and through that liberation to serve others.
तो प्रैक्टिकली सुबह उस स्मृति में रहे.
And so in a very practical way, I myself must maintain the awareness of myself.
सदा उसकी स्मृति रहे.
To always maintain the awareness and the remembrance of God.
उनके द्वारा मिले हुए ज्ञान के सिमरन ने कमाल किया, जो स्मृति में रहना आसान हो गया है.
And the thinking and the awareness of the knowledge that has come to me from God is that awareness that enables me to maintain the remembrance of God also.
आज कई बार सोचा, उनके एक एक शब्द में इतनी कमाल है जो फट से सब बातें भूल उनकी स्मृति पक्की हो जाती है.
So many times today I was thinking there's such a wonder in every single word of God, and that as I maintain the remembrance and the awareness of God's words, then I forget everything else and I'm able to maintain God's remembrance.
तो इसलिए अच्छी जीवन जीना हो तो परमात्मा बाप को देखो, उन्हीं से सुनो, उन्हीं संग रहने से उसी रंग में रंगे रहो.
And so if you want to lead a good life, then always see God in front of you, only always listen to the words that are spoken by God, and always maintain the awareness of God's remembrance and keep His company so that you're able to be colored by His company.
तो जो सारे दुनिया में ना फरिश्तों के लिए बहुत प्यार है हर एक को.
all over the world, people have a lot of love for angels
मास्टर से बहुत प्रेरणा मिलती है.
because they receive a lot of inspirations from the one who is the master of them.
तो बाप ही कहते बच्चे तुम मेरे बालक सो ऐसे मालिक बन जाओ.
And so the Father, God, says to us, you are my children, and so because you're my children, you are also the masters, and so you must become like me.
विक्रमा जीत माया जीत प्रकृति जीत बन जाओ.
Become the ones who are conquerors of all sinful actions, become conquerors of those who are conquerors of all illusion and negativity, and so then become the conquerors of the world.
तो विजयी माला में आने वाले परमात्मा के बच्चे विजयी रत्न बन जाएंगे.
So then you'll become the victorious jewels, the ones who are the children of God.
तो अपने नैनों में चाहे मस्तक में चाहे दिल में उनके बोल और उनका हमारे लिए जो संकल्प है प्रेरणा है वो हमारी लाइफ में हो.
And so the inspirations, the thoughts that God have for me, they should be part of my life. And so those words should be remembered in my thoughts and in my consciousness.
तो आज आप सबको ये 32 साल साकार में बाबा के साथ रही, 30 साल अव्यक्त हुए हुआ, परंतु साथ का अनुभव सदा इतना अच्छा पक्का है जैसे आत्मा शरीर के बगैर कुछ नहीं कर सकती, वैसे बाप के साथ के बगैर हम आत्मा कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
When Brahma Baba was in the physical form, I was with him for 32 years, and it's now 30 years since he left the physical world, the physical body, and ascended to higher realms. And even so, the experience of his company and his guidance is such that the feeling is that one can't be without that Father, just as the soul can't be without the body, and the two work very closely together. In the same way, the soul works very closely with the companionship of the Father.
तो बिछड़ी आत्मा ने परमात्मा मिलन मनाने से जो शक्ति पाई हुई है वो आप लोगों को शेयर कर रहे हैं.
The soul that becomes separated from God, and then having had the experience and attained God, the power that I have received from that experience, I'm sharing that with you.
ओम शांति.
Om Shanti.
You are the boatman who ferries my life from the shores of death to the land of your light. You are the gardener who tends to my needs, encourage the flowers, destroy all the weeds. You are the jeweler, you make me a diamond, a thing of great beauty, forever to shine on. You are the jeweler, you make me a diamond, a thing of great beauty, forever to shine on. You are the businessman with a contract of lovers in return for our love. Give 1,000,000 times over. You are the lighthouse and we are returning to the land long forgotten. to the place we've been yearning. You are the jeweler, you make me a diamond, a thing of great beauty, forever to shine on. You are the jeweler, you make me a diamond, a thing of great beauty, forever to shine on. You play the music and you sing the song, you perform magic to make the soul strong. You are the alchemist, you make gold from a stone. You are the one guide to take the soul home. You are the jeweler, you make me a diamond, a thing of great beauty,